Have you ever walked into a theater and like, wow, there's like nobody here? And when I bought my tickets, there was a lot more seats being filled. And granted, sometimes people cancel, sometimes people just simply don't show up. But there's something a little bit more to it than just that. One of the things I like about the modern theater going experience is my ability to go and buy tickets online. I go, pick my theater, I pick my time, pick my seat, I pay for it, I show up, I watch the movie, I leave. Fantastic. The other added benefit to that is you have the ability to see how full a theater is and if a movie is actually doing well. Granted, this is anecdotal. The other thing that allows you to see is patterns. Because when there's an empty theater and there's like 3 seats that are being sold in the exact same spot at multiple time slots, there's something suspicious going on. I initially saw this back in 2018, and I did 2 videos talking about the topic of ghost seats. No, I'm not talking about ghosts in theaters. I'm just talking about seats that were purchased that don't have butts in them. So last night I was talking to my producer about the latest Indiana Jones film, Indiana Jones and the Box Office of Doom. He thinks that there's a potential that because of all these articles are talking about how it's going to flop, it's going to trick people, specifically, I guess, YouTubers, and to saying, oh, the movie's going to flop, and when it doesn't, it basically destroys their credibility. So I decided to show him my theater and some of the other showings and how empty they were. And the thing that was interesting about it is we started to see a pattern. So this is one of the auditoriums I was showing my producer. This is the 5:30 screening on June 29th in Auditorium 9. And if I go and click on this other tab, you'd think that I did nothing and changed nothing, but you can see here that this is now the 9 p.m. screening on June 29th for Auditorium 9. It is the exact same pattern, and if I just flip through these, you can see that nothing is changing with that seating arrangement. What makes this interesting is the fact that this exact same pattern can be seen on the following day of June 30th for the same auditorium. And it's not just this auditorium for this theater, it's actually like 2 or 3 auditoriums, and I'll pull them up and show you. So I want to start off by showing you another auditorium. This is Auditorium 5. There isn't anything unusual throughout the various screenings that I saw. This one seems fine. But when we get to Auditorium 4, and I have multiples here, we have the 4:30 screening, and again, this is on June 29th, the 8 p.m. screening, and then we have the 2 p.m. screening on June 30th, and the 9 p.m. screening on June 30th, and finally the 5:30 p.m. screening on June 30th. And as you can see, we have the exact same pattern of seats that have been sold throughout these 2 days. Hopefully you're watching in a larger screen. I know that these images are kind of small, but you can kind of see the pattern between the 4 theaters, and I'll plop the 5th one in here so you can just see that one as well. And this is all the same theater, by the way. Okay, there is kind of a rational explanation for this. Sometimes the studio will use their marketing department to go and give away tickets, and that could explain some of this. But sometimes there's the practice of what is called ghost seats, which is where the marketing department goes and purchases seats to make the theater look like it's more full, especially when it's a very empty theater. Now, a number of years ago when I was talking about what was going on with Captain Marvel, I stumbled across an article talking about Ip Man 3 and how they were being investigated for fraud because of ghost seats being sold in China. Fraud and box office records have become familiar in China's film industry. Bribing cinemas to cooperate and mass buy tickets to one's own film may bring about a hefty marketing bill, but it is often deemed a worthy investment if the movie can attract more viewers to the theaters. And that's ultimately the goal of the whole thing with ghost seats, is to make it look like the film is popular and people want to go and see it. Granted, it's a little different when it's just like 6 seats, but I think it's kind of the same sentiment. Some of the distributors allow or have no choice but to abide by the unspoken rules of the market. However, this is the first time for a film to be caught red-handed, and governing institutions were alarmed enough to issue statements. Now, have any of the studios here in the United States been caught red-handed, like what happened in China? No, I'm not aware of anything, but I would say it is naive to think that they are not indulging in this practice. Now, I didn't do a comprehensive search of my entire city and all the theaters there, I did check about 6 or 7 of them, and I only found 2 additional ones that seemed kind of sketchy. Over at the Maya Palace, we have the 4:15 and the 7:45 screenings with the exact same tickets sold. And the same thing with Silverado. We have the 5 p.m. and the 8:30 p.m. screening with the exact same tickets sold. Now, like I said, I'm pretty sure that this is nothing more than the usual ghost seating practices that studios indulge in. And I think the reason why they're doing it is because Indiana Jones and the Dial of Disaster is going to be a massive flop. But I'm curious as to what you think. Leave a comment. And if you enjoyed this video, check out some more of my content. And I'll catch you next time.